All right, and I'm a little surprised. I kind of expect you to be in your car for this, but I thought that would
Yeah.
make for the film.
Yeah, I can you imagine? And people would be a little concerned about just how deeply personal this film might be.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it would be
Yeah.
very, very kind of I don't know, method acting, right? Like you're
Yeah,
not
no,
gonna
thank God.
Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watcher Pass, and today I'm talking to Vivian Kerr, the writer, director, and star of Scrap, which premiered at, I'm going to butcher this name, the DeVille American Film Festival, and is currently playing the festival circuit. I'm going to talk to her right now, and while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. It also a lot. Thank you. Thanks so much for joining me today. I've got Vivian Kerr, the writer, director, and star of Scrap, which premiered at the DeVille American Film Festival and is now currently running the festival circuit. It is a kind of raw, painful and emotional story about one person trying to kind of pull her life back up after some setbacks and the lengths that she would go to help herself and also to kind of hide it from others. It is, like I said, emotional. It is raw. It has a really kind of roller coaster of emotions throughout. So I'm very excited to talk to you, and thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, it is, I do think it is sort of raw and emotional, but hopefully there's a little bit of humor there in the like dysfunctional relationship between the brother and sister. I tried to like infuse a little bit of that as well, just so it wasn't like, otherwise it would be so incredibly bleak and painful. So, but yeah, I mean, it's sort of in general just like tough subject matter if someone's experiencing homelessness.
Yeah, exactly. I actually kind of I was almost infuriated by your character because I was just
Yeah.
like tell him, like share more information. She has this network around her, but I also kind of understood that she didn't want to ask for that help. She wanted to kind of like do it on her own, which is very tough already in this situation. So I understood that, but I was just like getting mad. But so there were definitely some comedic moments as well. But there was also, I think for me, it was more kind of like raw and emotional.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the beginning of the movie, right? Because it's like before you're, not to give spoilers, but like before you fully understand her backstory with their family and her ex and sort of what has led up to this. It is frustrating because you see this woman who's living in her car and she has a support network. She has a brother and a sister-in-law with who clearly have means and would take her in. So I think the idea is to sort of put the audience in that frustrating position, so that they are asking like why won't she do this? And I think, as you said, we sort of all have like our pride and our moments where we don't want to ask for help.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So this originally was a short film in 2018 starring you and the person who played Ben, Adam Rapp. Um, what made you kind of want
Anthony,
to?
yeah.
Oh, Anthony Rapp. Anthony Rapp. Sorry.
Yeah.
I have a friend whose name is
Adam
Adam
actually is
Rapp.
his brother, who's an
Oh,
amazing playwright.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, perfect. A talented family.
You're like, I knew there
Um,
was an Adam in there somewhere.
yeah. What made you want to like flesh this story out further and kind of tell, I guess, assume a more feature-rich, like full story of Beth?
I think part of it also, well, part of it, a big part of it was working with Anthony and the relationship that we started to develop in the short, this sibling dynamic of sort of, the younger sister, my character Beth, and then sort of having a brother who's 10 years older, who has had to take on almost a surrogate father figure role. And from the moment we met and kind of, just started playing a little bit together in the scenes for the short, I immediately felt like, oh, this is exactly the dynamic that I was interested in exploring. And he is perfect as
Mhm.
Ben. Like I believe him when I look at him that he could be my older brother. And I loved the dynamic that we created and all of his instincts for the character. And I think I told him on set on the short, like I am writing this as a feature. And I think he was sort of a little bit skeptical, like, oh, I've heard that before. It's like people make these short films all the time and
Mhm.
plan to make, there's a lot of like lip service paid to, we're going to make this a feature and then nothing ever happens. But I did write it, and thankfully when he read the feature script he wanted to do it. But it really, I think, came from the relationship between the characters of Ben and Beth. Like that to me felt very rich and exciting, and I wanted to explore it more.
Yeah, no, definitely. His character was like a saint. I was just like, oh my God, like how do you have someone who is this nice, this supportive,
No,
like
side with me, side with my character.
maybe it's just my, my male bias. I don't know. But
That's very funny. Yeah, he
so,
does.
yeah.
He does have that long suffering, yeah, surrogate father figure, like kind of long suffering older brother.
Mhm.
Um, vibe. But then I think also, hopefully over the course of the film, you learn like he's sort of he's sort of a little bit off track in his own life too. And he kind of needs her to push him in the right direction. So I think it's a story about them healing each other and helping push each other forward in their lives. Even though she maybe has the bigger lesson to learn.
Yeah, no, they both push. It just depends on how much they push. But no, they definitely do kind of, there are a lot of really nice, heartfelt kind of growth moments towards the end of the film that I love to see. And so you had not met Anthony Rapp before filming the short. You just kind of met at that on set. That's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't know him. So we just got really lucky because we sent him the short. But at that time, it was a proof of concept. Like we were all, always discussing it as a feature. And luckily, I think it just worked out with his schedule nicely. And so he came to LA to do the short. And yeah, very, very lucky.
That is awesome. And so the short was also directed by someone else, and you're like, you know what? I wrote this. I'm going to play the star. I want more on my plate. I want to be overwhelmed as well. So you decided to direct. What was the reason for that?
I'd wanted to direct a feature for a really long time. Like I'd always directed shorts and web series and like scenes with my friends who are, actors and writers. And I'd wanted to direct a feature for like forever. But it seemed so impossible to me. Like, what would the story be? How would I get the funding? It just felt like such a far away dream. And then I think doing the short and spending sort of all of 2019 doing film festivals with the short and realizing the audience had such an enthusiastic response to it, I knew it felt very personal to me. And I just knew that it became very clear that like, it has to be this project. This is the project that I want to make that leap with. So I think it was, yeah, just the more I worked on it, the more I did festivals with it, it felt more and more important to me.
No, that makes perfect sense. And so like this story, like where did this come from? If like I said, it feels very personal. I don't know, your background. I don't know the struggles that you've had, but was this based on someone you knew? Was this based kind of roughly on some of the things that happened in your life that are extrapolated out? Like how did you kind of come up with this scenario?
I mean, there's little tiny scenes and bits and pieces that I think are from my life. Like I know very well the experience of being in your 20s and living in Los Angeles and being broke. I mean, I never lived that far, thank God, but I know that experience of being young and trying to make your life happen and feeling like the city is almost fighting you, like almost like you think the city is going to be la la land, like it's going to be this magical city of your dreams, and it's the opposite. You get a parking ticket, you're late, people are like honking at you. It's so like her kind of experience of not being able to get a foothold in the city, I very strongly related to when I was younger. But in terms of, I think, the homeless issue, that was, nothing, again, thankfully based on my personal experience, but I had noticed my neighborhood in Los Angeles in Hollywood had changed a great deal over the years. And there were more and more and more people sleeping in tents, sleeping on the sidewalk, living in their cars. And I couldn't believe it, how quickly it had changed and how many people there were. And I wanted to tell a story that highlighted that, but I wanted to try to approach it from a more middle class perspective.
Mhm.
Hopefully, a story where like the average moviegoer could relate to it more. So many times, I think these stories are about, it's like The Soloist, right? Where it's about sort of mental illness, schizophrenia, or it's about someone aging out of the foster care system or drug addiction, right? It's like it has sort of a whole other layer to it. And I kind of just wanted some to sort of explore what it would be like for someone at the very beginning of their experience of like possibly going down this rabbit hole, as opposed to encountering a character who's been living on the streets for 6 months,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it was just about exploring the very beginning of that in hopefully a way that the average audience could relate to.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it was interesting, like kind of how quickly it happened and also like how tough it was to pull yourself out once it happened, right? Like there's just a lot of things that you don't think about. I was thinking like, how do you afford gas in LA? Like,
Right.
do you have to drive around to
Well,
get a
yeah,
car?
especially
You have
right
to
now, right?
charge your
It's like
phone?
$7 a
Yeah.
gas. Yeah, and I think, when we meet Beth in the beginning of the movie, we never explicitly say it, but essentially we decided that she's been living in her car for only about 2 weeks. So that's part of the reason why she's still in such denial over it. She's thinking, well, this is temporary, and she's sort of trying to make it work. She's showering at her gym, she's eating at Starbucks, she's cobbling it together, but it's rapidly becoming unsustainable. And she is kind of on that dangerous precipice, especially as a single woman sleeping in her car alone. She's putting herself in a very dangerous situation, that you get the sense that if she doesn't go to her brother, like if she keeps doing this, where she's going to be in 2-3 months is going to be, in a very different place than she is right now. So yeah, she's really sort of teetering on the precipice there.
For sure. And let's talk quickly about my favorite character. I loved the actor who played Birdie. I thought that Birdie was so like such a wonderful point in this. I loved how like no matter what Beth did, she was always just super happy to see her, loved her mother, like regardless of what happened. I thought that that was like a really important point in this film. How did you find her, and like how did you kind of like, I know working with child actors is difficult, but how did you kind of like get her in this film?
Our casting directors found her. We hired Mormon Bowling Casting, and they, did the magic that they do, which is sort of scouring the globe for like little talented little girl actresses. And yeah, we just got really lucky. I mean, they found her. This was her first film.
Oh wow.
She had done, I think, a couple, maybe 1 or 2 episodes of television, and this was her first feature. And she lives in New Jersey, and she and her mom did an audition tape and sent it to the casting directors. And then we met them on Zoom, and she did a call back with us on Zoom and just chit chatted with her. And yeah, I loved her, adored her. She's so precocious. She knew the lines better than I did, which is annoying because it's correct. But like sometimes I'd say a word wrong and she'd correct me, and I was like, God, she's right.
You're
But yeah,
like, I
she's
am
just
your
one of those,
mother. You do not correct me.
yeah, she's just one of those like terrifyingly precocious little girl actresses who, and also she is like the sweetest little girl, totally normal and well adjusted, and her mother is lovely. And yeah, we got extremely lucky. I think she's a doll, and I love what she brought to Birdie. I think even some interesting subtleties that whether they're conscious or not, she's going to have a long career. She's very talented.
Yes, for sure. So I know we have limited time. I'm going to switch to, I call it the lightning round. They're just lightweight questions about the film. I want to see how your personal experiences map to things in the film. Hopefully not a lot, but we'll find out together. You can feel free to pass on any of them. I will not be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable.
Sure,
First,
sure.
first question. Have you ever slept in your car?
Yes, I think on a road trip, maybe like, or pulling over if you like are too tired. Yes, I have.
Excellent. Have you ever worked retail?
No.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So that is that like a first for an
I mean, I
actor? I
had
don't
a
know. I
lot
feel
of other
like
terrible jobs. Yeah. I've had many other terrible jobs, but no, I've never been a shop girl.
a charmed life indeed. What is your
Yeah.
go-to In-N-Out order? I loved seeing In-N-Out in this film, by the way.
Oh, I like the idea. I don't think I've ever really ordered it because I haven't had In-N-Out actually in a while, but I like what's the one where they just wrap it in lettuce and you don't have the bun?
Protein style.
Protein style. Yeah, I like that idea. I like being having like a double wrapped in lettuce with like lots of cheese. That sounds fun to me.
That sounds delicious. And as someone who lives somewhere where In-N-Out is not around, that makes me very sad
Yeah.
to hear. But
Yeah. I
I'm
know I
glad that
haven't
you
had
have
it in
it.
out. I don't think I've had it in out since we wrapped I think the last time I had it in out might have been when we were doing the film. I was like to get over there.
Yeah, well, the perks of making your own film, right? You can control the catering, or at least in that
Yeah.
scene, you can control the catering.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have one older sister who actually plays our mother in the flashback in the film. That's
Oh,
my
that's
older sister,
awesome.
Mary. Yeah,
That is
she's an
awesome.
actress and a writer as well.
Um, do you have a favorite author?
That's tough, but maybe yes, maybe Ernest Hemingway.
That is a good classic. Um,
Yeah,
when
go
was the last
wrong.
time that you had a black eye?
I don't think I've ever had a black. Thank God.
Oh, good.
I don't think I've ever had a black eye.
So that makeup talk was just all kind of ad lib then when you were doing the makeup to cover it up. That was
Oh, no, it was, I mean, it was scripted. I mean, I know that purple cancels out green. I do know, but I've never had a black eye. I've had a black toe once. I was
Ooh.
running for a while. I was doing like half marathons and I did get a black toe because I had shoes that were ill-fitting. That was gross.
Yeah, that sounds worse than a black eye for some reason. I don't know,
It was
something about
gross.
that.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was gross and painful and took a long time to heal.
Uh, do you like fantasy books?
I will say no, but only it's not that I don't like them, it's that I just don't read them. But I like fantasy films. Like I love Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. I'm a big fan of all of that.
Excellent. And the last question is, what is your favorite like fantasy, I don't know, race or monster or element? What is your favorite thing in fantasy?
Oh. I like I like Traveling through like I like Doctor Who. I like the idea of being able to travel through time and space and being able to go to like different time periods. Like that seems very cool. Any of that kind of time travel, any of time travel things.
That is very kind of like thoughtful. I was expecting like dragons or swords, but
Oh,
yours is much more
oh, I didn't
thoughtful.
know it was like monsters. Oh, okay. I
No,
don't know. Oh, what about what's the thing? Who's the guy? What's the creature in Neverending Story?
the like
Where you just
dragon
ride him?
dog thing.
Yeah,
The
what's
yeah,
that? What's
I
his name?
forget
I
his
want
name, but
that. I want to
okay,
ride that.
that would be really cool. That is a great answer. That is a great answer.
Yeah. We'll look
Uh,
up the name of that after this is done.
I'll look it up later. So the film is Scrap. It's currently running the festival circuit. You were out promoting it, getting the word out, but I think I saw in your bio that you have some other projects coming up as well. So after people are able to see Scrap if it's around, or are able to see it later when it gets a digital release, what can they look for next from you?
So I'm in post-production now on my second feature called Seance, which is totally different. It's a period piece psychological thriller that takes place in 1890s California.
Sounds awesome as well. I'm excited to see that. I like this film. I'm excited to see the next work as well. So you can look forward to Seance. But before that, keep your eyes peeled for Scrap. It's running the festival circuit. So if it comes near you, you should definitely check it out. This is the writer, director, and star Vivian Kerr. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That was Vivian Kerr, the writer, director, and star of Scrap, which is currently playing the festival circuit. It is a kind of raw, emotional, and at times painful indie film about someone kind of losing a lot and then trying to pull themselves up and trying to kind of like grow from the experience. It has some very beautiful moments, some interesting characters, and a really, really nice ending. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.